they did what? And he went where and what? Wait, what the dog did and how did that go? Wait, what? That scene where they, and then wait a minute, whoa. And this guy did what? And then wait, Lex Luthor and then Superman, wait a minute. And then okay. And then Mr. Terrific and the Lantern, what happened? The dinosaur in the street. Wait, what happened? So wait, there's a Superman movie? It's a Justice League? Well, no, the Hall of the Super Gang. What is it? The Justice Gang, the Justice League. What is this movie? So it's a Superman movie. It's a standalone Superman movie that forgoes the whole backstory, right? We don't need to know that he showed up on Earth from Krypton, that whole backstory, right? We don't need that. We're doing this movie where Superman is already Superman. The world already knows him and he's existing in this space. And we're going to tell you a story about him doing things here, now, presently. And there's going to be all this stuff and there's going to be bad guys, bad things that happen. And that's all we need to focus on, right? That's it. God save us. Superman 2025. Next. All right, people. So I said this in my trailer reaction review of Superman 2025, James Gunn's Superman film. I said this during the trailer reaction. I said it already looks like there's too much stuff going on. There are too many things happening, too many characters, and that's always a bad sign for a film. I said this. Okay, so mark my words. Go back and see. I said this a couple of times about a couple of films. But anyway, this is a Superman movie. Now, I want to lay certain things out up front before I do this review. First of all, it's spoiler free. I'm not going to say things, hopefully, that are going to spoil us if you haven't seen it. Okay. And I'm also going to address up front my expectation going into the film, because I know there are things online, people talking about, well, there's like the Snyder gang. I don't really know what that is. I didn't investigate it, but I heard it somewhere that there was some, thing with the Zack Snyder people, and they're like anti this and anti that, and they want to see this and want to see that. And then there's the anti woke crowd versus the woke crowd, and people fighting about this, that, and the other, and the true comic book fans and aficionados who believe in blah, 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 and all these different things regarding the character, the person playing him, and the actual storyline, and whether the director can, all these different things, right? I'm going to lay all that on the side because it's not me. I'm a huge Superman fan. Superman is probably my favorite superhero of all time. So Superman and Batman are technically my two favorite superheroes of all time for whatever reason. We'll get into that in another video. Superman for me is always going to be Christopher Reeve. Always. That's just one of those things. So maybe that's a starting point for me that is bad. And later generations of people who are seeing this film, they don't feel the same way. So obviously anyone who views Christopher Reeve as your Superman and uses that 1978 film as a defining Superman, the film and Christopher Reeve himself playing Superman, that's how you look at every other Superman. That's how I went into Man of Steel with Henry Cavill. I went into it like, oh man, this is the first Superman movie since. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. There were others, but I would say they didn't really count. Superman Returns, Brandon Routh, whole thing, whatever. This was like considered, Man of Steel was considered to be like the thing, right? It was like the next, like this is going to be it, right? I enjoyed Man of Steel. I enjoyed Man of Steel more than I think most people did. I think the consensus is overall it's a good film, but a lot of people had issues with it, and it did have issues. It wasn't perfect. But Henry Cavill certainly was perfect as Superman. He did a great job filling the role of Christopher Reeve, which, again, for me, that's who you're actually competing with. The film itself had its issues, but it was a Superman movie, and it felt good. And they didn't do that whole thing where they, totally did not tell the tale of him coming. They started there. I didn't like the Krypton thing, the way they changed that with the dinosaurs and that lush world and with Russell Crowe and the Codex thing. I could have done without that. There were a couple flaws here and there, but overall, I enjoyed that movie. Let's get to Superman 2025, because when I went into this, I went into it with the thought of, crap, what's he going to do? This Brandon Cornsweth, this guy playing Superman, how is he going to stack up against Henry Cavill and ultimately Christopher Reeve? I know it's unfair to do, but I it is what it is. But I went to it expecting a good film. Like, you know what? I'm not going to hate this. I'm going to go in it and I'm going to sit down and hope that it's good. I've said this before on my channel. I tell you guys all the time that as much as I think something's going to be terrible, when I get to the theater, I literally clear my mind and think, I want this to be good. I want it to be good. And I shut that other side of my brain up. I actually went to see this with the family. This wasn't one of those solo outings that I normally do. A lot of times I see these movies by myself in the middle of the afternoon, and I enjoy it that way. But this was a family venture. So my wife and my two of my boys were with me. I went into it with expectations thinking it would be something. And from the opening of this film, I will tell you, I pretty much couldn't stand it. It probably took me 10, 15 minutes to be like, I'm already don't like this. I don't like this film. I have an issue with the dog. First of all, I can't tell if the dog was CGI the whole time or like AI dog, or did they have a real dog in certain shots? I don't think they did. I think they maintained a AI dog or virtual. Is it called a virtual dog or an AI dog now? A CGI dog. But I don't think that, and obviously for the fight scenes and all these different things with whatever his name is, Crypto, they had to be CGI. I get that. I'm just saying that it seemed like overall, even the shots where he wasn't doing anything super, it still seemed like for consistency, they stuck with this CGI generated AI dog. That was distracting. I didn't like that even in the trailer, the fact it was going to be Crypto in this, and he ruins a good portion of this movie. There were way too many things going on in this movie. I'm just going to ramble. I'm just going to drop all this on you guys right now. There's way too much going on in this film. Way too much going on. There's so much going on. There's no Superman story. If you're going to do a standalone Superman movie and it's going to be, hey, it's about this guy, and you basically put all your time and effort into finding the new Superman and making sure that somebody, the actor, can embody this new Superman and can pull it off and can be believable and have vulnerabilities and be somebody that you believe the strength of and the honor and all these wonderful things as far as his character, in addition to the physicality of this character and believability of him as Superman, right? You put all that effort into finding an actor to do that, and then you give him a film where the film is not even really about Superman. It's not really a Superman story. There's Superman in this thing getting his ass kicked for most of the film, which kind of pulls away from the idea of it being Superman. On top of which, there are multiple characters in this movie that either have his powers or more powers than him, and it's kind of like, well, there's no, I get it. We need to create formidable foes for Superman to fight. I get that, but you remove the element of it being a Superman movie. Like you take away the super status when you do that. If you're going to do a standalone movie and you're going to have some alien foe or some other alien foe or some domestic foe that is really formidable and it's going to go up against Superman, it's a new threat against Superman, right? You still have Superman being Superman, and at some point that foe might vest him in like a fight or so, or something happens to set Superman back. We get it. We go back to Superman 2, where he fought 3 of his own Kryptonian brothers and 1 sister, right? He had to fight General Zod and company. Those were 3 people from his world that had the same power. So you're kind of like, whoa, but it was still a Superman movie and Superman fighting against this foe that was going to get him. It wasn't a whole bunch of characters that all had the same power or similar powers. Superman is greatly diminished in this movie as far as I'm concerned. That's my feeling on it. Again, I'm not giving any spoilers away here. I just feel that the Superman essence of this film was gone. It was stripped. Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult, I don't have a problem with Nicholas Hoult. I think he's a great actor. I think as far as his Lex Luthor goes, I don't think his performance in the role or his delivery of lines or how he looked and such as Lex Luthor was the problem. It was the story and the script. This is a god-awful script. When I mean god-awful, take it with capital letters in bold. God-awful script. The script was terrible. There are lines in here that are so bad. It's like 7th grade I'm going to be a screenwriter one day. Let me learn how to write. That's how bad it was. Like, I can't even. I wanted to like take my phone out during the movie just to put notes about how bad certain lines were, because if I would even remember them, they were that bad. There's too much going on in this film. There's not enough of a Superman story really going on here. The script is all over the place. The story's all over the place. The plot is all over the place. Plot, story, whatever, all over the place. The music did nothing for me. They used John Williams' iconic themes. It's one of my favorite themes of all time. It goes right through me every time. I just watched Superman 1978 just yesterday before seeing this. I'm going to watch Superman 2 tonight. The music goes right through me. It goes right through anybody. I think I could play that for my 8-year-old and he's going to feel that even though he doesn't come from that era. This movie incorporates John Williams, as you know from seeing the trailer. They use the original theme and incorporate that into the new score. I don't even care about the people who did the scores. Two guys who did it. I don't even care. I didn't even bother to look them up because I don't care. The score did nothing for me. The music doesn't work here. There's nothing exhilarating, thrilling that undercuts the action to make it feel good. The soundtrack sucked. Whatever songs they decided to use in this doesn't work. All right. Speaking of action, the CGI that's here, and some of the scenes are so obviously CGI, and there's nothing groundbreaking happening here. As far as Superman in flight, right, which is usually one of the things they focus on, like, oh, we got to get him to fly, and it's got to look much better than it did way back in 1978, right? Obviously, you know, we've come a long way since then. Superman, Man of Steel, 2013, 12 years ago, that first flight scene where he steps out into the snow and takes off, and we get that whole thing, and we see how Snyder handled that particular action, I was kind of thrilled. The whole fight with Zod in the city, like that whole thing looked good. It felt good. It had real feel to it, right? This one doesn't do anything beyond that. This one feels like it was made a year later. Like this could have been made in 2014. There was nothing groundbreaking about any of the visuals here. And there was a lot of moments where you see the CGI, you're like, really? Like what happened? And Lex Luthor just did what? And like, how did that work? And how did, like, it's just batshit crazy. And the action does not leave you feeling like, man, that was a really good scene, or oh my God, that was crazy. Nothing. It's just so many things going on, so many elements, so much technology. That's the other thing. There's like technology, and everyone has technology, and it's kind of like this crazy. It's just crazy. And then there are things that are just unbelievable. Like, I understand. I'm not one of those people who picks apart a film and goes, oh, nobody would believe that would happen. I get it. You know, things happen and people run and not everyone's going to die and we don't need to see it. I get certain things are the way they are. But this one was just ridiculous. There are moments in their scenes where you're like, that was ridiculous. And then there are scenes that totally, as far as Superman goes and his powers and him being Superman, again, they stripped away Superman. You're like, wait a minute. Why is he in that situation? Why didn't he, before that happened, how come he didn't do this? And what happened to his power? Like, why did he not just do this? And you question everything. You're like, this doesn't make any sense. Then there's just stuff that takes place as far as the action goes. And you're like, wait a minute, what happened? What happened in the universe? Wait, what? And Lex Luthor did what? And this is what's happening to the planet and to the city. And who's going to say, like, how is that going to work? Bad. If you want to get into the politics of it and everyone talking the politics and the woke stuff and whether or not it was woke or not woke, it is what it is. There's a clear reference here and clear connection between Israel and Gaza, and there's even a character in here that's Netanyahu-esque or whatever. Take your pick of whoever it's going to be. You know, there's obvious reference to that in the brown people in the desert and doing that whole thing. We don't go so far as showing, whatever, like what's currently taking place with genocide over there being unchecked, but there's clearly that element in this film. And the immigration thing does happen here. There's even a speech by Superman, and it's kind of like nails the point home. I don't think it pounds you over the head with it, but it's there. I don't mind it per se. That's not the thing. It wasn't too preachy, and it wasn't so woke that it really sort of pissed you off. It's just that it is there, and it's hard to ignore. I think the larger issue is the fact that the film sucks so bad that you could care less about the politics. Like, just give me something. The music sucked. The action sucked. It wasn't a Superman story. There were too many things going on. The editing and the pacing was off, and the direction was all off. It was like, what did you do? Film this over a weekend amongst 10 of your friends in second unit, third unit, fourth unit, fifth unit, sixth unit, seventh unit, eighth? Like, how was this put together? Because there are pacing and editing issues here that I'm just like, wait, it went from here, and then it went there. There are stupid characters in this. There are some characters in this that I'm not going to, again, spoiler free, but there are some characters in Luthor's camp, Lex Luthor's camp, and a couple of those that are just annoying. And you're like, what is the purpose? The humor, the James Gunn sort of punchy, sticky kind of humor that we've gotten used to with his stuff doesn't work here at all. It's like bad comedy. So that doesn't work. You don't even really get a thrill from this as far as a laugh, a chuckle, a guffaw, nothing. Zero. Leave James Gunn in space. Guardians of the Galaxy, as far as I'm concerned, I thought was a fantastic film. The shtick, the comedy, the characters, that you felt something for every single one of them. You loved them all. They worked well together. They meshed together. The script was good. The story was good. The action was good. The first Guardians of the Galaxy, as far as I'm concerned, is a classic. It's like a must-own. It's like the first Iron Man, right? It just belongs in that pantheon of like, wow, that was really done well for a superhero movie, especially with all those different characters. The second one, I thought even worked well. Wasn't my favorite. And the third one, But the first one, classic. James Gunn did his thing. This here, he had no business on Earth doing this movie. He had no business handling Superman on the planet, on our planet. Let him stay in space and stay with with Gamora and all them and Star-Lord and, Dax and all, because this did not work. If you want to go see this film, go see it. I almost challenge you to go see it. I'm just going to be very straight up. Don't even go to the theater. You're so much better just waiting. You're so much better waiting. You'll actually be angry if you go to the theater and see this. I'm telling you. You'll be like, you know what? Thank God I listened to that guy. Because when it comes out and you see it, and you actually listen to me, and you watch it at home, you can watch this on a 22-inch TV. You won't watch it on your iPad. You will not give a crap. You won't give a damn. So I'm saving you the $22.50 or whatever it is to go to the theater and see this film. You're not missing a single thing. Bad story, bad script, bad editing, bad sound, bad CGI, bad all round everything. There's no Superman here. There's nothing. You don't feel anything. I could go on, and I'm not going to. I'm done. That Guy Talks Movies. Superman 2025. However you want to say it. I think Jeremy Johns talks about you got to be drunk. Yeah, you got to go through like 2 bottles of Macallan 18 to even bother dragging your ass to a theater to see this. I don't know. As far as the whole conspiracy of like why Rotten Tomatoes it's showing up. First of all, Rotten Tomatoes is not the authority on anything, and I don't trust the integrity of Rotten Tomatoes scores, right? That's been bought off a long time ago. I'm not falling into the conspiracy theorist camp and suggesting that all these people are paid and not paid. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you'd have to be pretty naive not to understand that there probably is some sense of an orchestrated sort of thing going on behind the scenes, or manipulation when it comes to how they do the numbers on that and how these reviews are put out and how certain movies are sort of catapulted into a certain ranking versus not fresh ranking versus rotten ranking, right? You'd have to be dumb not to know that, right? Because this 85%, will there be people who actually enjoy it? Of course. If you're 5 years old, 6 years old and have no clue and half the time you want to go pee and just eat your popcorn and Twizzlers, you'll probably enjoy this movie. I'll tell you right now, best part for last. My wife hated it. My 12-year-old, terrible. And the 8-year-old was just like, nothing. None of them said a word. So it's not just me. Anyway, see if you want to see it. If you've already seen it or something, whatever, let me know in the comments below what you think. Who's your favorite Superman? Let me know your favorite Superman movie. I'm going to watch Superman 2 tonight. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to watch Man of Steel again. And whatever. I got to erase this from my mind. All right. Like the video on the way out. Subscribe, please, if you've not yet subscribed. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss these angry rants and stuff from this guy, that guy that talks movies. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.